Hi, welcome everyone to today's episode of Tech Facom. And in this lecture, we are looking into CSS color, background, border, margin, and padding. So let's dive into it. So, going to be choosing this file, and in this file there's nothing inside. So let's make a test. Let's say we are calling an H1, and we are writing something. We say this is our page heading. Is our page heading. And after that, we are making another test, another tag. So you can say welcome to our new classroom. And we can use another tag again. Let's say we are using another tag again. So we are using H5 here. H5, not 45, H5 here, and we are giving it just some random text. So now, first thing we want to do is we want to add some colors to this element here. We want to add color to this element. And when you are talking about color in CSS, there are different color. We have three different color. We have the RGB, we have the HES, and we have the HSL. And all of them have the meaning and they have their uses. And there's a way you can use them. Depends on your choice. So next thing, let's add a CSS file to this page. Let's add a CSS file to this page. And if you don't know how to add a CSS file to your page, I already have a video on it in CSS lecture, so you can check that out. I was going to explain it to you in a better way. So the CSS I'm using is inside that file. So I'm closing it. Good. So now let's go to our CSS file. Good. So this is the color type I was talking about. This is the first one, RGB, which means red, green, and blue. And the next one is HES, which means the hexadecimal. And the last one is HXL, which means all saturation and lightness. All saturation and lightness. So this is the color code that we'll be using today. And looking at them, they have a code. There's a code in which you can use them. So we're going to be looking into different examples, one example for each color code in this lecture. So first of all, let's call our H1. Let's change the color. And in the color, let's call RGBA. And this RGBA, as I said earlier, we have in red, green, and blue. Okay? But this is not what we want. Okay? So let's give it a color code. Let's say we have 255, 99, and then we have 71. And again, when you're working with color in CSS using RGBA, don't forget to add the comma. Don't forget to add the comma after each color code. Make sure you add your comma. After each color code, make sure you add the comma. So let's go back to our HTML page and load this page up in the browser. Let's load this page up. Okay, good. So this is our H1, which we've given the RGBA color code. So let's work with this one and this one also. So now we're having P tag and H5 tag. So now in the P tag and P tag, we'll be using the HELs. So we're going to call our P tag. Now say P tag, and we'll say color. And the color we are using HES. And when we are using the HES, look at it now. There is no need for writing the HES like this. Just go on to use the color code. It's a very popular ways in which you can add color to your style or to your page. So So in order to do that, just first call hash and add the color code to it. For instance, let's say we want to add a black color to it, which is the default color. So we're not going to do that. Let's say we want to add red to it. We say FF0000. So this one will give us red. We give our p tag a red color. So let's do the last one, which is H5. And in this H5, we are using the HSL color code. That's what we are using here. So HSL, which means hall, saturation, and lightness, as I've said earlier. So now let's clear this and let's all specify the color we want. So in this HLFs, we can specify different color. First of all, let's say we are choosing 0, comma, don't forget to put your comma, and the saturation. We can declare how we want the saturation to be. Let's say we are choosing 100% saturation, comma. What about the lightness? We don't want it to be too light. Let's say we are giving it a 50% lightness. You see now, it also gives us red. We also have red here. So if we go back to our browser, you can see that our tests have red color. Red color, and we did not use the same color code. We use different color code, but at the same time, we still get the same result. So that is how you can use color code, different color code methods to add color to your HTML page. So the next thing we are doing to this page again is we want to change the background color. We already have a white background there, which is the default background. Let's change the background. We can use anything as the background. So, but in order to do that, I want us to add a background to it in a global way. Okay, well, we can use different methods to do that, but I don't want it to be in a global way because we may still use this CSS file for another class. So let's call the body, and in the body, that's where we're going to specify our background. So let's say background color, and in this background color, we can choose anything. You can choose anything. Let's say in this background color, we are choosing black. We chose black, which is this method, hexadecimal method. So our background is having a black color. And if we go back there now, we can see, now here we are. Our page background color has changed to black. So that's how you add background to your HTML. And the next thing I said we're going to be talking about is border, margin, and padding. What is border, what is margin, and what is padding? So we're going to be taking it one after the other. And we'll take the border as the last thing. So what is margin? Margin is the space outside your content. Space outside your content. Look at this text now. Why is it far away from the top here? You can see it's far away and it's giving it a space here, which shouldn't be so. Okay? It shouldn't be so. It's giving it a space. We should be able to declare or say the kind of margin, the amount of margin or anything we want our page to have, not the default browser margin. So what margin helps us to do is it gives space away from our content. It spaces our content away from the page edge, from this side, or this side. That's what margin do for us. What about padding? Padding work inside our content. For instance now, here is like a box. Here is like a box. What padding do for us is, you can see this box here from this edge and this edge. You can see our text is very close to this edge and close to this edge. What padding will do for us is we keep our text away from the edge here, So what padding does? Padding work inside the text border. Work inside the text border. The border is invisible now, you can't see it, but we can declare the border so that it's going to be visible, which we're going to do again later on in this lecture. So what padding do is it spaces them away from the border. Now the last one, which is border. What border do for our test, our content is wrap our contents round about with anything, either a line, a sign, symbol, picture, or anything. That's what border does for us. So now let's go back to our text editor, and we're going to declare the margin inside the body tag. So first of all, let's first remove the default margin and padding that the browser is giving to our text. And the next one is padding, giving it 0. So let's go back to our page. If you come back to our page, you can see that the space here has been closed. The space we have here has been closed now. Now our text is very, very close to the edge of this page. So good. So that is that. So now let's declare the margin now. Let's declare the margin we want for this H1. Let's say we are giving this H1 a margin of 10 pixels. And let's go back to our browser and let's see. You can see that the H1 text has moved far away from the edge to this location. You can see all of them, they are not in the same line again. So let's give it the same margin to everything. Let's give the same margin to everything because of time, so I'll just do copy and paste. So now let's go back there. If we go back to our browser, you can see everything now they are in the same line. So that is how margin works. And the next one we're going to be looking into is border. We're going to be looking into border, and we're just going to use one example for border and padding. So let's declare the border. And when we are declaring the border, we are using the one-hand method. We are using the one-hand method. Border, we are declaring 2 pixels. Solid. And the color should be something like white. Okay, so now I will explain what this one means. 2 pixels means the size of the line, the border line. And solid means the type of border we want. Do we want a straight line? Do we want a broken line? Do we want a dot? Do we want a picture? Anything. So this is what this one means. A solid here. Solid means a straight line. White means the color of the border. Let's check it out in our browser. Now you can see now we have a thick line that is white in color. So now you can see that our text is close to this border. It's very, very close to this border here at this edge. So let's use padding to settle that case. So we go back to our page, CSS again. I'll call name padding. And in this padding, let's say we are giving the padding of 5 pixels. And if we go back to our browser again, we will see that there's a space away from it. And the space here, we have space to the left, top, right, and at the same time to the right. Same time to the right. So that is how padding works in our page when we use it correctly. So that's how you make use of color, padding, background, border, and margin. And so I think we're going to stop the lecture here. So thank you for your time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, so that we can add more content to this thing. It's going to be like a source of encouragement to us, to let us know that what we are doing is episode 1. Thank you once again. See you in the next lecture.